I've made comparisons before with Dylan and Picasso in the sense that he has different eras or periods. This seems to be like his blue era, Dylan's blue era, which is Blood on the Tracks and albums around this period, because he broke up with his wife Sarah, from the little bit of research that I did about this. So he was making a lot of like sort of breakup related heartache tracks. A track like Tangled Up in Blue, which is also on this album, which I've heard on this channel, was sort of about a breakup over a period of time, kind of told maybe in non-chronological order. Really impressive track lyrically, so I'm expecting more of the same here. Maybe some more dense imagery and lyricism to this one, maybe about a terrible breakup. I heard that there may be some references to a Jewish law. The Talmud is what I've seen someone write about in this thing, so maybe there's some like sort of religious imagery in this thing as well. Who knows? Let's find out. This is a donator suggested track too. This one is thrown in by Dylan. So here we go, let's check out the track. Idiot Wind by Bob Dylan.
Someone's got it in for me.
Straight in.
They're planting stories in the press. Whoever it is, I wish they cut it out quick. But when they will, I can only guess. They say I shot a man named Gray and took his wife to Italy. She inherited $1 million, and when she died, it came to me. I can't help it if I'm lucky.
Okay, it's interesting to me hearing super early Dylan, where his delivery was very difficult to get into for me. It was not difficult, but it was very idiosyncratic. His cadence was so strange. It was in this odd kind of folk style. His cadence became more listenable to me with time, especially in this later stuff where he's way more melodic. This is kind of somewhere in the middle, but his writing became more, I guess, like opaque would be the word. Like you never know what he's quite talking about in this kind of middle period of his. I think he's trying to make fun of the press in this first verse, where he's like made up a story for himself, right? They say I shot a man named Gray, took his wife to Italy. It's hilarious. She inherited millions of bucks. So he's like making fun of the kind of stuff that they would maybe write about him, I think.
People see me all the time, and they just can't remember how to act. Their minds are filled with big ideas, images, and distorted facts. Even you, yesterday, you had to ask me where it was at. I couldn't believe after all these years you didn't know me any better than that, sweet lady.
Wow.
Idiot wind, blowing every time you move your mouth, blowing down the back roads heading south. Idiot wind, blowing every time you move your teeth. You're an idiot, babe. It's a wonder that you still know how to breathe.
Scathing to say the least. If it is, so with Dylan songs, I always feel like, because of his great writing, that there's ambiguity to it. Who is he speaking about? Is it the listener? Is it himself? Is it his actual ex-wife? Because this bit, the part before makes me think he's actually speaking about the audience when he says their minds are filled up with these big ideas, images, and distorted facts, because maybe he's talking about the kind of perception his fans or listeners of rock music or music at the time thought of Dylan as being this kind of holier than thou kind of character, gigantic figure in music, and then they don't really understand him is what they're saying. You know, he's just maybe saying he's a normal man. And then the idea of sweet lady at the end, maybe a twist, allowing it to also relate to his wife at the same time. The idea that his wife doesn't understand who he is. Her head is full up with nonsense. And then the line that was the funniest to me, he says, blowing every time you move your teeth. You're an idiot, babe. It's a wonder that you still know how to breathe. Wow.
Who said beware of lightning, let man strike. I haven't known peace and quiet for so long I can't remember what it's like. old chestnut mare shoot through my head and I'm making me see stars. You hurt the ones that I love best and cover up the truth with lies. One day you'll be in the ditch, flies buzzing around your eyes, blood on your saddle.
The organs on this make this thing sound so epic. This is angry Dylan. Angry. He's full of rage in this thing, man. It's unbelievable to hear him like this. It's also got vibes of like a Rolling Stone, because that was a kind of scathing critique of this lady. And this is probably the same thing here. He's like, when he remembers her mare, which is, I think he's talking about her horses there, it enrages him, you know, shot through my head and are making me see stars. He gets so angry that just the thought of this person. Wow.
Blowing through the curtains in your room. Idiot wind, blowing every time you move your teeth. You an idiot, babe. It's a wonder that you still know how to breathe.
Epic musically, man.
Gravity which pulled us down,
Huge.
and destiny which broke us apart. You tamed the lion in my cage, but it just wasn't enough to change my heart. Now everything's a little upside down. As a matter of fact, the wheels have stopped. What's good is bad, what's bad is good. You find out when you reach the top. You're on the bottom. I noticed at this ceremony your corrupt ways had finally made you blind. I can't remember your face anymore. Your mouth
Wow.
has changed, your eyes don't look in the night. The priest wore black on the seventh day and sat stone faced while a building burned. I waited for you on the running boards near the cypress tree while the springtime turned slowly into autumn. Yeah.
So this has a super interesting title. When I looked this thing up, there was a little bit about it. The fact that it was like a Hebrew translation of this book, this Talmud, which is like a Jewish law book, something along those lines, which translated to no one commits a sin unless the wind of idiocy enters into him. I think he's trying to make a statement here about his wife, the idea that like this kind of wind of idiocy entered into her and she turned into someone different.
Idiot wind, blowing like a circle around my skull. From the Grand Coulee Dam to the Capitol. Idiot wind, blowing every time you move your teeth. You're an idiot, babe. It's a wonder that you still know how to breathe.
Gotta love the keys on this.
I can't feel you anymore. I can't even touch the books you've read. Every time I crawl past your door, I've been wishing I've been somebody else instead. Down the highway, down the tracks, down the road to ecstasy. I followed you beneath the stars, haunted by your memory and all your raging glory.
I think these are references to his albums, right? Down the Highway, Down the Track. So he's talking about Highway 61 Revisited. I'm guessing this is where they first got together. Down the Tracks, which means all the way to this. This is Blood on the Tracks. Down the Road to Ecstasy, which is interesting. He's saying, now that I've left you, now my life is together now. Scathing, angry.
I've been double-crossed now for the very last time, and now I'm finally free. I kissed goodbye the howling beast on the borderline which separated you from me. feel so sorry. Idiot wind blowing through the buttons of our coat, blowing through the letters that we wrote. Idiot wind blowing through the dust upon our shelves. We are idiots, babe. It's a wonder we can't even feed ourselves.
Wow, the tone kind of changed up at the end. Really interesting ending, how the tone sort of switched up there, man. I really enjoyed that because he finally, it's almost like he got all of the anger off of him and then he could kind of see reality maybe a little bit more. The fact that they were both probably in the wrong in this. We're idiots, babe. Interesting how the whole thing was sort of a scathing attack and then he gets it off his chest and the tone changed, even in the music, and the harmonica was less angry. Interesting. To me, it's cool that he's this personal and this sort of within that first initial emotion of rage that you might have, and he wrote maybe or recorded the song with that emotion raw because it's all there to see. It's almost like a track that I feel like you'd be embarrassed to hear once you get older and you're over the breakup. It's like, damn, I can't believe I almost said all that stuff. It's like when you send like a text message, a long ass text message to like your ex-girlfriend, and then 6 months later you read it again and you feel horrible for the things you say and you can't believe you got that angry. It almost feels like that. It's like a song version of a bad breakup text message. Interesting track, enjoyed it, especially musically. I thought it was quite rich musically. I like the organs on this thing. A little bit repetitive, it's a very long track, but we'll give Dylan a bit of a break, you know. He can kind of get away with it.